Welcome everybody to Gamer on BeFirstInGaming.com. I'm James Gaspar, and today we're in Richardson, Texas, and we're going behind the scenes of Video Games Live. We're going to be interviewing all the cast, including Tommy Tallarico and everybody. And this is a really special one because today they're using a high school band. So we're going to be talking with some of those students out there. So come on with me and let's check it out. All right, so we're back here in the dressing rooms of Video Games Live, and we're talking with Laura, who plays Flute Link. Laura, you look so different. I didn't recognize you without the ears and the hair.
I get that a lot.
So tell me a little bit about how you actually got started with Video Games Live.
Well, actually, I had done the Flute Link skit originally at an anime convention in Baltimore, Otakon. And I had just done it for fun because I had seen the Masquerade, the talent show in the years previous, and I thought it looked really fun, and I thought I could do something really flashy and cool with the arrangement of all the tunes I wanted to do from Zelda. And I already had a Zelda cosplay that I put together, so I was like, oh, this is perfect, you know, like, and I played the flute, it's kind of like an ocarina, like, this is all gonna work out just fine. And my friends recorded the performance for me and put it up on YouTube, and it became really popular and did like the viral thing. And I said to myself, well, that was cool, that was really fun, and then I went back to school. It was my senior year of college, and then my same week of graduation is when Tommy got in touch with me, and it had been like 9 months since the video went up. It took that long for it to make its way around, and he asked me if I would like to perform it with the show, and then I went to the San Diego Comic-Con performance in 2009, and that's the first time I performed with Video Games Live. And then about a month later, Tommy emailed me asking me if I'd like to go to Brazil with them, and to perform the Flute Link skit there. And I said, oh, of course I'd love to. You know, like you have to ask, and count me in. And while we were there, he found out that I sang, and they were looking for a soloist to do the God of War solo. So I ended up singing that. So that's kind of how it all started. And
so what you're telling me is being a fan of video games actually improved your life.
Exactly.
So there you have it, people. Playing video games makes you better. But no, seriously, it's so many people look at video games and they're like, oh man, you know, my kid just plays or my buddy just plays like 14 hours a day and nothing ever comes for it. But you were a fan of video games and now I guess it's a career?
Yeah, very much. I mean, I've gotten involved in the industry because of it. I do have to say, I didn't play that many hours a day. While I was at school, I actually didn't have any time to play at all. I was really involved in my musical studies, and I wanted to be a composer and opera singer when I went to school. So this totally like 180 my career choice, but I was happy to do it because I love video game music too. But yeah, I'd always loved video games, and when I could play them, I got really addicted to them. Like couldn't put it down. So it definitely has launched this whole new career into the video game industry that I didn't expect to happen. So
wow. So let me ask you this. What was your favorite video game to play?
Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time. Coach because of Flute Link. Yeah, playing Flute Link.
And so a lot of games I love, but that one was life changing. I thought the soundtrack was so novel for its time, and it's still, when I listen to the music, I was just like, this was so ahead of its game. It was so innovative for the type of game that it was. I just thought it was fantastic, and that was what really made me notice video game music. I'd always liked it, but that was what really made me study it.
Okay, we're gonna start. Again, everybody, hello. We're really happy to be back here. I'm happy to be back because I saw you 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3.
All right, everybody, so we moved on to the green room at Video Games Live, and we're talking with Emmanuel here. Now, he's the conductor. He's actually telling the orchestra what's going on. So Emmanuel, give us a little introduction about yourself.
Well, I'm a conductor. Basically, I worked with Video Games Live for the last 7 or 8 years, but I became their principal conductor since 2009. And basically what I do is I go from cities to cities, meeting new musicians and putting the show together so that we're up and going. It takes us about 2.5 hours to 3 hours to rehearse the whole show. And I make sure that everything goes well on stage, either before the show while we're rehearsing or during the show.
These musicians now, they don't get their music in practice for months and months at a time. These musicians actually get their music, their sheet music, 2 hours before the show starts. And today is actually even more special, as we've been talking about. Today, it's a bunch of high school kids performing. How do you think they did?
I think they did great. I mean, they did get the music a little in advance because they needed to prepare. So that is unusual, you know, for kids. I mean, that's an experience of a lifetime for kids to be able in a professional situation like this one. It's a high-pressure situation, so when they approached us to have them play at this show, we said, well, we'll send you everything in advance so they can practice at home. And they actually flew me in, you know, here in Texas about 3 weeks ago, and I did the first rehearsal with them so that they're not in shock when they get here and they see the massive production that Video Games Live is. So what we do in general is we fly into a new city. We usually use professional musicians, you know, AFM musician, American Federation of Musicians, and or symphony orchestra already, you know, established. And basically what they do is they get the music a little in advance, but they usually hardly look at it. They get on stage, they do their rehearsal, they sight read it, and we're up and going. So it's pretty high level of skills that is required to be to be doing the show.
All right.
Yeah.
So you actually did work on some video games. You worked on Advent Rising with Tommy Tallarico.
That's right. Yeah.
What got you into making music for video games?
Well, it's just really an interesting story. We heard back in 2004 that video game music was starting to be orchestral. And so my wife, Laurie Robinson, who's also a composer, said to me, hey, we should get connected to this environment. So we started attending those meetings that video game composers started having in Los Angeles. And we got connected to Tommy because he's Italian. I'm Italian. I came to Tommy, said, hey, you're Italian, I'm Italian. It's nice to meet you. And then from there on, everything sort of grew from there. Then he asked me if I could work and help him with the Advent Rising score. And you know, I was really pleased that he asked me. And from there on, there was a friendship that grew into a professional relationship as well, and so there you go. I'm here doing the conductor now.
Now you've worked on some really big projects lately. What was the last big project you worked on?
Well, as I live in Los Angeles, so I've been part of the television scene and the film scene for quite a few years now, and from time to time I would be called to help on a certain project. Like the last one I did was The Amazing Spider-Man in the summer. The last one? The last one.
Wow, and, that's a big movie.
Yeah, that's a big movie. So basically I work for Paramount Pictures as a team member of the part of the music team, basically. And so I'm there assisting them and getting the score out and to the musicians. The composer was James Horner. But he needs a bunch of people helping get that music done fast and well. So that's what I'm still connected to, and obviously now touring a lot with Video Games Live, and did a lot of television music. For 5 years I was on JAG. I don't know if you know JAG.
Wow, yeah, very familiar with JAG.
Yeah, so I did the last 5 seasons of JAG where I was an orchestrator and score supervisor on the show, and so there you go. So it's a little bit of everything that I've done here in the U.S.
Wow, and you're from Switzerland, I heard.
Yes, my family is actually all Italian. I still hold the Italian passport. I'm now a dual citizen. I'm an American citizen too. But I was born in Switzerland, and I grew up, looking at lakes and beautiful mountains and peaks, and grew up on skis, and did all my music studies down there in Switzerland, a city called Montreux. It's a beautiful resort town. There's a famous jazz festival there, and I grew up listening to the best jazz in the world, and became a musician from there on, and transitioned basically into becoming a composer when I was mid-20s, and then 15 years ago I decided to move to the US permanently, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sitting with us, Emmanuel, and it is a great pleasure to work with you and listen to your music.
Thank you.
And I know there's a lot of young gamers, and there's a lot of older people who are going to be surprised about what they hear and see tonight. They don't know what they're coming into.
Oh, it's completely it's going to be blowing their minds. It's a show that is really out there. It's something that is very new for a lot of people. So we hope that they'll enjoy that, and we look forward to giving ourselves and and the musicians our best during this show. So it should be fun.
All right. Well, next time we see Emmanuel, he's going to be on stage, and we're going to check out the show. So stay right here. I'm sitting here with Tommy Tallarico.
Where? Where is he?
Where? Well, I don't know.
Oh, that's it. Wait, you said you were sitting here with Tommy Tallarico. I'm not sitting.
Standing here with Tommy Tallarico.
I might look like I'm sitting because I'm so short and you're tall, but no, we're standing.
Yes. So this is Video Games, and this one's actually extra special because today you're working with a high school band.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's actually not a high school band, but tons of high school bands. It's all the best musicians and kids from the whole Richardson Independent School District. So there's like 4 different high schools, and all coming together. We have over 120 musicians on stage tonight, and
Wow.
they've been practicing for months. And as you can hear, we're in the rehearsal now, about halfway through. It sounds unbelievable. It sounds really cool.
So how do they compare to to your regular musicians that you hire?
Well, when you hire like professional musicians, they're so good that when they sit down, they don't even have to look at the music. And you put the sheet music in front of them for the first rehearsal, and they're just like they read music like we read books, right? It's just, they just do it. For the younger kids, they need to practice more, and so that's why we've been working with them for about 2 months now, and even our conductor Emmanuel flew out at the beginning of the year to rehearse with them as well too, to give them a lot of stuff. So you have to rehearse more, with the younger folks. But the great thing is that they actually know all this music. You go some of the classical symphonic musicians, and they're like, Sonic the Hedgehog, what the? Final Fantasy, what's that?
I remember actually playing those games.
Yeah. Whereas these kids are like, oh my God, Halo, yeah! So it's a big difference.
So let me ask you this: since you've been doing Video Games Live now for a couple of years,
10 years.
10 years, wow, holy
Crazy.
cow! And you've been traveling around the world. How do you find time? Have you had time to actually work on any new video games?
I haven't. No, I mean not for a couple of years. I think one of the last games I worked on was a Sonic the Hedgehog game, and I just wrote like 3 songs for that. So yeah, it's been difficult because most games, the big games now, take 1.5, 2 years of, doing just that. And with Video Games Live, I'm doing 40 to 50 shows a year. So we're on the road 250 to 300 days, so I just don't have the time. But this is my passion, bringing all the industry's great music to the masses all around the world, and feeling the excitement and energy of a live audience. To me, there's nothing better. So if I had my choice between the two, I did video game music for 23 years, but this is even more a passion of mine. So if I had to choose, I'd take this one every time.
Okay, so let's switch it up a little bit. And we've heard a lot of things in the news lately, especially with the Sandy Hook tragedy going on. And we're seeing it in the political world, talking about video games and violence.
Yeah.
And I know you're very outspoken about this, as outspoken as I am about this. And I keep telling people, I'm like, no, video games aren't the cause of violence. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, I mean, just like, the people need to blame something. So in the 1950s, they were blaming comic books. Comic books are so horrible. They were blaming Elvis Presley, and then it was rock and roll music, or if it was Ozzy lyrics in the 70s, so 80s, so there's always some scapegoat because people can't wrap their head around the fact that violence is a part of human nature, unfortunately. Because last time I checked, Cain didn't bludgeon Abel with a Game Boy, Genghis Khan wasn't on Xbox Live, and Hitler never played Crash Bandicoot. So, unfortunately, history shows us that violence is a part of human nature. To say that someone played a video game and that then triggered them to go out and shoot someone for real, well, unfortunately, the data, or actually fortunately, the data doesn't back that up. The reality is that although video game, and here's the real data, forget all the other stats and this and that, if you will, the reality is over the last 10 years, video game playing in the United States has gone up tremendously, yet teen violence has gone down. So shouldn't, if more people are playing video games, shouldn't it be, you know, if it had some kind of correlation? And the reality is they've done real medical studies to say, now, does your heart rate get pumping? Do video games inspire to create music? Absolutely. But there's a big difference between putting somebody, you know, getting their adrenaline pumping, than to say, you know what, now I'm going to go out and kill someone for real. There's just no correlation. Tons of scientific studies have been done, and it's just.
Well, the military's using video games now to help treat PTSD as well as for training. So we're seeing video games in the military training. We're seeing and on the backside of it to train.
Not because you're creating these monsters that are now going to trigger to go shoot.
So they use it in the assistance of training. They also use it in the assistance of treating PTSD.
And I mean, the reality is, like I said, you know, when you use your imagination, when you read a book and you use your imagination and you're reading things like Shakespeare, which is very violent and death and murder and this and that, and you're in that, are they going to now start banning books? Because when I use your imagination, that's even sometimes more realistic. If you're dreaming at night and you are dreaming of shooting something or inflicting violence on something, does that mean then that, you know, I mean, where does it end, right? Where do you draw the line?
Absolutely.
Now, that being said, look, whenever I hear talk show hosts or the mainstream media talk about, oh, video games are violent, this and that, what everyone forgets to realize, which I think is freaking hilarious, is that video games have ratings on them.
Absolutely.
So if you're 16 years old and you're playing Halo, you can't go into a store and buy Halo. You can't buy Metal Gear Solid, you can't buy God of War. 16-year-olds can't buy M-rated games. So if they own those games, guess who we're blaming?
We're blaming the parents.
You gotta, as a parent, you gotta inform yourself. And there's a great website, the entertainment software, well, ESRB.
ESRB, and we absolutely support ESRB.
Exactly.
And every week I say, go to esrb.org. Parents, monitor what your children are playing.
Exactly, and know what to buy them. So if your 15-year-old son says, hey mom, get me Halo for Christmas, it's, you know, you gotta, look, they can't sell it to a 15-year-old in the stores. People don't realize that. Stores will, now you go to GameStop, I mean, people will not sell. People, they card people. So just like if your child would have cigarettes or pornography or whatever, you know, you need to monitor that. You can't, just because it's a video game doesn't mean that it doesn't have a rating or a, you know. So it's the same as all that other stuff. You wouldn't let your child drink alcohol, you know, to go out with a fake ID. You wouldn't let them buy cigarettes. Why would you let them play a video game that the industry has said, you know what, we don't want children, you know, doing this, you know. So, you know, it's kind of crazy, the whole hubbub about video games and kids. Well, they shouldn't be playing them.
Absolutely. Well, here's the last question of the day: Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Yeah. Now, if we're talking online, though, I love Xbox Live way better. So Xbox Live is the better online experience between the consoles. But PlayStation 3, to me, I love Shadow of the Colossus, Eco, Metal Gear Solid. I know that's cross now, but you know, there's so many, God of War, so many of my Uncharted. So many of my favorite style of games are exclusive to the PlayStation 3, so I love the PlayStation 3, but as I always say, you have both. Because if you only have the PlayStation 3, then you're missing out on Halo, you're missing out on, you know, Gears of War, you know, so many.
In other words,
you gotta have them all.
In other words, buy all the systems.
You gotta have them all. But if you're asking me personally, for me, I have all the systems, but the PlayStation 3 I play the most. I also love Kinect better. The Kinect is for this stuff.
for the motion gaming.
Motion gaming, PlayStation's better than the what's a PS?
Oh, the Xbox is better than the Move.
Yeah. The Kinect is way better than the Move.
All right. All right. Well, thank you very much, Tommy.
Awesome.
And we'll be seeing you on stage in just a few.
I hope so.
All right. Cool.
Awesome,
thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put your hands together for the one, the only,
All right, everybody, we're finishing up Gamer tonight at Video Games Live, and I found here the mayor of Richardson, Texas, and I want to talk to him. What's your name, sir?
My name is Bob Townsend. This is my wife, Lynn.
Hi.
Hi, guys, and I got to ask you, what did you think, what brought you out here to see a video game concert?
Well, we support this center an awful lot, and we come to a lot of the shows here, and we really didn't know what to expect tonight, but we were amazed. It was awesome. It really was. The performance, it's such a great idea too,
It was an education.
Young kids are symphonic music. They're getting introduced to symphonic music, and this was great music.
Good music. Wonderful.
And I was so proud of our RISD orchestra and chorus tonight. I thought they did a fabulous job, just almost as good as any professional orchestra that you would have.
You know, the Richardson ISD did an amazing job, and I got to tell you, good things are coming out of Richardson, Texas. Now, I got to say, in the political world right now, we see a lot of bad things coming towards video games, but this was obviously a really good thing. Has this changed your perspective on what the possibilities out there of video games are?
Oh, very definitely. I didn't know there were that many video games. I didn't know the music was so good in the video games. I was truly impressed with it.
We don't have I don't think he does either, but I don't have a bad opinion of video games, never have. But I had no idea. The music was so good.
And I definitely disagree that video games do not cause the violence today. That's stretching it an awful lot.
I always advertise that parents should be involved with their children's video gaming. There's a lot of great resources out there, such as esrb.org, and it's really great that you can come out here, not be a gamer, and enjoy such a great show about video games. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming to Richardson this year.
All right, and so closing with Gamer, we had such a great time at Video Games Live. I've got all these wonderful people dressed up. I feel like I'm in a game myself. And this is amazing. I mean, we got Zero from Borderlands 2. We got Minecraft. We got Princess Zelda. We got Shell. Watch out. She'll throw you into a fire. We have all these people here. Check it out. Gamer, BeFirstInGaming.com. And we're out. Game on.
This was a triumph. I'm making a note here. Huge success.
We're rolling. Get them doggies rolling. Rolling. This is gonna go on the blooper bit.
We do what we must because we can. For the good of all.
So we're talking behind the scenes here at Video Games Live, and today we have, what are you guys?
Video gamers.
You guys are video gamers? And you're part of the symphony orchestra, right? Guys, I'm here with the students of J.J. Pierce High School, right? High school? High school. J.J. Pierce High School, and these guys, who are you with?
I'm not even angry.
Okay, so we're here, and they're part of the Richardson ISD, and they're performing live tonight with Video Games Live.
Even though you broke my heart and killed me and tore me to pieces and threw every piece into a fire. As they burned, it hurt because I was so happy for you. Now this points of data make a beautiful line, and we're out of beta. We're releasing on time, so I'm glad I got
BeFirstInGaming.com,
where you can be first in gaming.